When exactly did it hit me that I had fallen in love with my literal best friend who I had recently married in this kind of wacky marriage of convenience type situation?
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. You guys, this video is a very interesting video as always. You guys know I love real love. I love true love. I love love. Even though most of the relationship out there are very toxic and all that and all that, and we as women, I preach on we women looking out for ourselves, okay? But when I see something that it's like really different, and I'm just like, okay, this story time got me thinking. So this video is a video of a woman who came to share a story about a marriage of convenience. And if you guys know this channel, it's something that we've talked about if marriage is a scam, and we've all agree, okay, that marriage is a scam. But this woman came to share a story about how she got married the on traditional way, on the unlike way, and the marriage became something else. This woman was talking about how her mother has a sickness and her mom was dying, and her mom was like, you know what, you're an only child, I'm scared to leave you alone, I want you to get married before I leave, like so scared to leave her if anything happens to her. And the mom sold the idea to her that, you know what, you have this friend and you guys have been friends for a long time, why don't you guys just marry? At least that will make me at peace knowing that you have somebody that is going to look after you. And she told this her friend, and they agreed to get married just for it. Like, you know what, I'm not dating, I'm not in a relationship, you're not in a relationship, well, we can just do marriage for convenience, and the rest is history. Anyway, guys, let's go check out the sister tell her story, then we'll come back and talk more.
When exactly did it hit me that I had fallen in love with my literal best friend who I had recently married in this kind of wacky marriage of convenience type situation? Be happy to tell you. So just as a quick recap for those who don't know, my mom at the time that all of this was decided was extremely sick and didn't have much time left, and my brother and my dad had already passed away like soon before that. So typical South Asian mom fashion, she wanted to make sure that I was settled down and married to somebody that we both loved and trusted. And of course she was also worried because I had recently just quit my job so I could live closer to her, which meant I didn't have any health care and I tended to be pretty sickly. Of course, I'm not exactly in love with anyone at the time, so the only way that this would work is if it was like a marriage of convenience type situation, but who the hell is gonna go along with that? But then my mom was like, oh, wouldn't it be great if you ended up marrying your best friend of 10 or so years? And to my shock, he agrees and says, okay. So we end up getting married, we end up doing a Muslim marriage ceremony, and then we end up moving in together. And everything is pretty much exactly the same, except only we happen to have a marriage contract and I happen to be on his healthcare. And it was an extremely casual agreement. We basically decided that if anything changed between us or my mom passed away, we could revisit the contract and dissolve it peacefully and go our separate ways like nothing ever happened. But of course, before we ended up getting married, he also disclosed that he had happened to have feelings for me for like the past 10 or so years. Then of course, after we started living together, I started noticing these things about him that I had just never noticed before. And, you know, he started taking his role as husband of convenience far more seriously than he ever needed to. And it started to make me feel things. He would always just do these like sweet little acts of care. For example, if I ever wanted tea and I started to get up to make myself some, he would say, no, please sit down. Can I make you some tea? As if I would be doing him a favor by letting him make me tea. If we ever got into like an argument over like the stupidest thing, he would make sure to always end the argument with saying, I love you, best friend. And the reason why that was so special to me is because one of the things that I ended up telling him like on a particularly hard night was that I really, really regretted not saying I love you more to my parents and my brother before they left. And so he started implementing that into his life and just constantly making sure that he was doing it all the time, not just with me, but his family too. But I think the kicker was my 30th birthday. I remember having a really, really rough time because it was my first birthday without my family, and my mom had just recently passed away only a few months before that, so naturally I was a mess. And I was sitting in the living room and he hands me this tiny little package, and when I open it, it's a pencil wrapped in a little bow. And I remember just being floored because during the very first month that we had met, we were working together on a class project in college, and the class project presentation happened to fall on my birthday. And he'd gotten me a present that day. It was a pencil wrapped in a bow, but in the end he had chickened out because he realized he had a crush on me, so I never ended up getting that pencil. Only 10 years later, here it was. And honestly, I think it was just that silly little pencil that made me finally realize just how much rich history there is between us and just how beautiful a steady and warm love is, so much so that I just didn't ever want to live without it. And I think that was the moment. So what happened after I ended up marrying my best friend in this like wacky marriage of convenience type situation? I'd be happy to talk about it, but fair warning, I feel like I'm about to get super corny. So if that's just not your cup of tea today, please keep scrolling so I don't waste your time. But just as a quick recap, I ended up marrying my best friend because my mom at the time was extremely sick, and it was her dying wish that she see me kind of get married and settle down with somebody before she was gone. And at that point, I'd already lost my dad and my brother. And then I also really needed healthcare. So my best friend agreed to this. And of course, before we ended up getting married and tying the knot and all of that stuff, we had a really, really long discussion about the terms of the agreement, what we would do in case like somewhere down the line, one of us ended up falling in love with somebody else. Just basically sorting out all of the weird kind of details. We also both agreed that we just wouldn't see other people during this whole marriage thing, however long it would last, because that'd be weird for everyone. Oh my God. And of course, before we officially tied the knot, he also disclosed that he'd had feelings for me for the past 10 or so years for reasons that are still baffling to me. In any case, he was just like, I just wanted to let you know in case that makes you uncomfortable before we like actually do this. And I was like, no, it doesn't, as long as you're cool with it. And so we went forward with it. Apparently, a really funny thing can happen when you end up moving in with your best friend. And in our case, that's exactly what happened. I think the constant proximity ended up fostering this deeper, organic sense of partnership because you're just constantly seeing each other at your most vulnerable. You're seeing each other at the good times and the bad, just the inane happenings of the day, and you end up just becoming each other's cheerleader. And then, of course, there's all those weird little things that you start to notice that you hadn't noticed before, like the things straight out of Wattpad, like the way that their shampoo smells when they pass you in the hallway, the way that they click their tongue against their teeth whenever they're annoyed by something, or the way that their eyes kind of like crinkle in the corners whenever they're smiling. Always just like extremely respectful. He knew obviously that I didn't reciprocate those feelings, so he was really, really careful to make sure that he never made me uncomfortable or anything, that he was always respecting my boundaries or whatever. And I don't know, it was really sweet. And then one day, in like the final months of my mom's life, she ended up getting roped into this extremely shady business deal. And I'm talking like with the shadiest people you can possibly imagine, that may or may not have had like a dog fighting ring on the side. It was bonkers, and she ended up giving away pretty much the entire family savings. They also assured her that they would help her sell her car because she couldn't drive anymore, and they did sell her car, only they kept the money and never told her. It was bad. Honestly, this should have been my time to shine because I'm a lawyer. Like, I should have been able to clean it up, but I think I was still in mourning, and I honestly gave up at that point. I was like, you know what, what's even the point? And my husband was like, oh, hell no, we are going to fix this. I hate this kind of injustice stuff. So this guy ended up like cleaning the entire mess when he honestly didn't have to. Like, again, this was a marriage of convenience, right? But no, he wouldn't let it stand. And I think hearing him on the phone with like lawyers and police officers and my mom and referring to me as his wife, long story short, in the Bollywood film Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Shah Rukh Khan's character says that love is friendship, and alhamdulillah, yeah. I don't have any wedding photos. Like, no photos whatsoever. We didn't even have a photographer. I think my cousins maybe took like 1 or 2 candid photos, but essentially no wedding photos. And the reason for this is kind of sad and also kind of funny. For those who don't know or haven't seen some of my earlier videos where I talk about this, my mom at the time was extremely sick. Like, her days were essentially numbered, and my dad and my brother had already passed away a few years before that. So of course, like any good parent, she was extremely worried about what was going to happen to me after she was gone. And she decided that her dying wish was that she see me get married, specifically to my best friend of 10 years. So that's what we ended up doing. We decided, okay, we're gonna fulfill a dying woman's wish, and we ended up deciding to get married. That's a whole other story that we're not going to get into right now. We decided to do a really small, intimate wedding ceremony called a nikah at my family house, which was already kind of a strange situation because the house was basically empty. We had to move like a lot of the furniture and sell a lot of things because my mom was moving to a smaller place so she could get better healthcare. We also just couldn't plan anything fancy because time was ticking. Like, my mom was getting sicker and sicker by the day, so we ended up only telling maybe 20 of our closest friends and family to come to our nikah ceremony, and it just so happened that whoever could come, and that was basically it. Then of course, the day of the wedding, I realized that I didn't even have a wedding dress. So I ended up having to pick out this like white lehenga that I happened to have. A lehenga, by the way, is like a Pakistani dress. They're beautiful. But this one was very, very casual and obviously not for a wedding, but it was the only thing that I had. So I ended up wearing that. One of my best friends was the one who ended up doing my hair because like I just didn't know what the heck I was doing. One of my cousins tried to decorate the house as best as she could, but of course, again, we didn't have any furniture, so there really just wasn't very much to work with. And my other cousin was the one who officiated the wedding. Of course, my mom was really, really happy. Like, you could just see the relief on her face that this was done and that she could feel a little little bit more comfortable about, I guess, my future. So, like, I'm not going to complain. After the main ceremony part is over, I turn to my now husband, who's been an absolute sweetheart through this entire batshit process, and I inform him that I'm going to go get changed. To which he responds, "Oh God, why are you like this?" And the reason why he says, "Oh God, why are you like this?" is because, being my best friend, he knows exactly what I'm about to do, which is go to my bedroom and change into my pajamas, because frankly, I was sick of my high heels and I wanted to get cozy because I was a sleepy baby. It had been a long day. So that's what I did. I changed into my pajamas, I came downstairs, and everybody laughed at me, except for my husband, who then quietly came up to me and just hugged me without a word. And then for the rest of the wedding, we ended up going into the basement, which had one of the only pieces of furniture left, which was this giant L-shaped couch. And we all pile onto the couch, and I play this game called A Wolf Among Us, which, for those who don't know, is an extremely violent video game. Of course, I didn't know it at the time. And so, of course, I'm panicking the entire time that I'm playing. And so that's what we ended up doing for the rest of the wedding. Just me, my friends, my family, all playing this ridiculous game, while my now husband is just like, "This is the most bonkers wedding I have ever seen in my entire life." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's also the best." So that's why I don't have any wedding photos. Good times.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts about this story time down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your opinion. You're allowed to, okay? But please do it respectful. I find this really, really sweet and all that, but I have some things to talk about. First off, I agree, like, I totally agree with what she said about the movie, like, love is friendship and all that. I feel like for you to have a long-lasting love, you need to have, like, very good friendship and all that. And some of the people I've had in my life for a long, 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 long time, it's friendship. Like, we have an amazing friendship. I have friends that will be friends since elementary school. Like, that should be like, we've been friends for over 30 years plus-ish. And one of the things that's kept the friendship is friendship and respect. And I also feel like that has also grown to so much love that I have for them. I have two of them that we've been friends since elementary school. And I feel like it's love I have for, like, it's love. And I feel like it also translates when it comes to relationship. And I feel like if a marriage can be in friendship and honesty, because I feel like a whole lot of relationship now is very curated and very performing. Everybody, like, nobody's being honest. I've said this thing before. I have the feeling that if everybody can be genuine and honest and stop playing the mind games and the emotional games and the manipulation about a relationship, what I'm going to get from you and all that, and just be honest and transparent about what you want, your expectation to each other, not just one side, to each other, and see, okay, oh, is this what you really want? Is this what I want? Okay, I think we're on the same journey. We have the same mindset, the same values, core values. Then let's do this life journey ourselves. I feel like if we do that, we'll have amazing relationship and amazing marriages. But I feel like we know relationship is cheating now because everything is just mind game. Everybody just out to get each other. And I feel so sad. So having a marriage like this of convenience and that turns out to be such a beautiful thing, I feel like the foundation is because it was very transparent and honest, and there was no lie, there was no pretend, and they allowed the friendship to grow. So it's really sweet to hear. But it's the but part now. So, but for me, I also feel like nobody should get married just because to fulfill their dead mom or dad wishes. I don't believe that. I don't believe anybody should do that because I feel like, yes, you could just pick up and have a divorce. It wasn't something serious like she said. But I just feel like marriage is a very, very sensitive thing. So for me, if those are some of your worries, and I feel like those are some of the things that should be considered generally in life, and also trust the work you've done as a parent. When you choose to have children, definitely you're going to leave them. There's a saying I always say, and my mom don't like it, which I'm going to say, I like having the conversation of death a lot, and my mom don't like it. In my own culture and society, you don't speak about death, you know, you like, that is no, 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 no. But it's something that I have come to learn that was actually the only thing that was guaranteed when we came into this. When they gave birth to us, one thing that was known for sure, we didn't know if we were going to be a good person or a bad person, or live a happy life or a sad life, or be dark, or I know that we don't know all that. But one thing we know for sure is that we'll die one day. And for me, that I feel like having that mindset that we'll die one day has really changed my the way I see life and how I handle things in life. And that's where I'm like, you know what, if you choose to have kids, then be sure of the things you choose to, how you've raised them, that they will be fine, because whether you like it or not, you are going to leave them in this world. So but for a mom to say she's scared to leave her in this world, so let her get married and be with somebody, is it that the mom does not trust the young beautiful woman that she raised, that she can handle herself and take care of herself? So for me, I see that, it gives me the side eye like, really? So I will not advise anybody to marry for the convenience of anybody. But I feel like in terms of if it's from your own, like you feel like, oh, the marriage of convenience for whatever reason, maybe for health care or for something, and it was just married for convenience for you, I'll say, I don't mind. Like for me, it would be something that I can try. Like I won't mind. Like really, what's the biggie? Like it's very transactional. You both of you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, so it's very transactional. I won't mind. I won't mind that. Anyway, guys, let me know your thought about this down in the comment section. What are your thoughts about marriage of convenience and people doing marriage more like a business, a transactional thing rather than emotional thing? Let me know your thought down in the comment section. Anyway, guys, go ahead and share your thought, but please keep it respectful. Here on the channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way, so feel free to share your opinion. Go on and share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation, so go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl. With that all said, guys, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.